So putting this little video together to sort of catch people up. We've just had a month of rain plus family issues, a couple of sad times, but sometimes good things happen as a result. And not going to go into it, but yeah, things have been pretty interesting the last month or so. So here's just sort of a review along with a summary of some of the things we had going. And hopefully we'll get right back to them now. This next month or so is going to take to readjust and re-get back to where we were. And on this channel here, the focus on fishing and motors, I've got a couple of projects. So I'll do a little bit of a montage, get through them. Well, it kind of waits for the next iteration of the 20 horsepower long shaft. Things got kind of put on hold because we've had a really bad weather pattern. Let me just review where we are on that one. Well, that's where it is right now. And I determined that it probably has a slightly ding cylinder or piston. Has got a pretty good tick going on in there. I mean, it runs all right, right? That usually means the piston got wiped a little bit, so there's probably some aluminum wipe on the cylinder. So I'm going to rebuild it. Now this power head right here has got good compression all the way through. So what I need to do is to swap all the good parts from this motor here to that one, and that'll be a different video. So essentially, either I'm going to take that power head and put it on that tower, because that works pretty good, or just blend as much of the good stuff on this motor to this power head right here, but make it 2 into 1. And part of the reason is, yeah, that thing ran okay, and you saw it in the video. You heard that little tick. It didn't feel crisp. I'm so used to the one on OGP, and I think it's only fair to get one of these either rebuilt or swap enough parts to get one running just as strong as the OGP 20. Now understand, with the 3-bladed prop we have on here, that's a 9-pitch prop, right? OGP has an 11-pitch prop. That right there is going to be part of the difference in top speed, just simply given the same RPMs, a 9 versus a 11. You know, it's like different gears. We don't have to go through all that. I'm pretty sure you understand. But I was expecting a little bit more than 20 mile an hour out of that boat. The one thing it did do versus the Johnson, didn't really show in the videos, but I put that Johnson on there, 2018 or 19, and it just took a while to get on plane. It just didn't have the power. And even in the configuration that motor is right now, it just popped right to plane. And, you know, it went right to plane, revved right out. And I've got to believe that if I can get that either rebuilt with a better power head on that tower, I might get a few more mile an hour, a little bit more power, and I might be able to change the prop out to something that's a little bit more aggressive to get a little more speed. I like to see if I can get that Discovery boat just as fast as OGP, somewhere in the high 20s. That's the goal. Yeah, you gotta stay right there. It does. I get another one. I'm not gonna peel that cover up.
How much would you have to peel up to get it?
Too much. Well, it's hay season again, and we had some perfect weather, so I'm out there at it again. Nice and cool. A little bit of green left in the coloring. This is first cutting. It's a little crunchy. You know, trying to find that fine line between dry enough and too dry. I think they're going to come out good this time. Old tractor's running good. I don't know if it's quite antique, but it's pretty damn close to it. Making hay. Let's take a look up over the hillside here. Pretty crunchy. Probably get about 60 bales off this little field right here. Let's see if I can take this on camera. See if I can turn it over just enough. I think that'll do it. Got good compression, it's got good spark, it's got no gas, and I'm beginning to wonder if maybe that doesn't have a little bit to do with it. And the problem is, now I'm back in parts hell, because I don't have the parts to fix this stupid thing. I've got to get a gasket kit for that carburetor for sure. But you know, when I'm getting into these old motors, a lesson's coming back to me that I've learned years ago. And most of the boat shops and most of the repair shops, they want you to work with a serial number because that makes it really easy. And the old fellows who work on these have got a lot of other knowledge. And like these pistons. Well, this one, I guess it's right here, when I tore it apart, had that style of wrist pin bearing, where basically they were loose needles, and the newer ones have got these caged needle bearings. Well, the part numbers are all different, but that piston will work with this particular bearing as well. And proof of the pudding is the connecting rod that came off that piston is now holding a bearing on a wrist pin for these new pistons. But you wouldn't know that just by going through the part numbers. That's something, there's that ancillary knowledge that the guys who worked on them for years and years will know that kind of thing. Well, I have a hunch that's scattered throughout the whole series. Right? And that same lesson was learned again when I was working on that other motor. I've got this really clean 20 horsepower you've seen on my channel now for quite some time over on my OGP boat. Serial number is 4406157, right? It has the same carburetor switch box arrangement as this one. But the serial number on this one is something that starts with a 2. I don't know if the camera will pick it up or not. I'll give it a shot. And the same with the carburetor, it's all pretty much the same stuff. if I go by this serial number that's on that motor, none of that stuff matches up. So obviously this was somebody's blend of parts, you know what I'm saying? So when they get to be this old, you have to be prepared to start with a serial number like that, whatever that one might be, but then actually look at the components and then use a resource like marineengine.com to try to find something similar if it doesn't match up. Because I can tell you right now, when I looked at the ignition parts breakout for the motor that had that serial number, it looked nothing like what I have on the motor at all, because this obviously was a much later version. And fortunately for me, I had this one around with its serial number to verify my speculation. Now I've got like 4 of these stupid things, now 5. So little by little by little, I'm beginning to learn all the different permutations. That was the 200 series 20 horsepower Mercury, and I like them. The other piece of information that I found out is there's a lot of crossover in the ignition systems with the different models as well. I guess the older fellows would know that, but I'm kind of relearning that, because the 110 at some point in its life had the same ignition as these 20 horsepower Mercuries that I'm working on right now. Confessions of a hack. This kill switch right here and that hole allows me to get access to those bottom screws, and the camera doesn't show up, but there's a 15/16 plastic nut that holds this right in there, and once I have that out of there, I should have a little bit better access to these screws. See, I was going to drill a hole. I may still drill a hole. Yeah, that's really loose. So that would explain why that is leaking gas. So we're going to get this out of here if I can. And see, I may have to drill a hole yet to get to that screw without disassembling the whole freaking cover, you know. I know purists are going to be upset, but you know, if I'm going to be working on these things, I want to make it work to me, not me have to work to it. And I don't really see another way of getting in there. Let's see what we have underneath this. This is a filter in here usually. And kind of an awkward gasket. Well, there's gas in there. I know the gas got that far, it just didn't get past that point. That's what we gotta figure out why. The gas did not get past this point right here. Well, there's dirt in here. Yeah, there's plenty of dirt. How about on the other side? Again, there's some dirt in there, but nothing that says it shouldn't get past, you know. Need to clean that out, obviously. There's sand. See it? That's all sand. So my guess is that we're going to have to get further into the carburetor. I don't want to. I might just shoot some air in there and see if I can get it back together and see if that makes a difference. I'll put a hole here so I can get a screwdriver right through there. A little bit of this down his throat. Let it go.
so far
With no bait.
with no bait.
As soon as I go.
The water's so dirty now.
So I think we have a runner. Yeah. So we got 17 with the one trim, and I got 18 with the trim the way it is now. Trimmed out a little bit. Their ride's a little rougher. Doesn't use a lot of gas, that's for sure. Didn't even make a dent in the tank.